Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. I got a big smile on my face because this gentleman is funny. And he's got so many good stories. I got to hear before we went live, and I'm super excited to have Michael Budsy Davis on the show. Budsy, the comedic barbecue cook. We're going to learn about his journey, talk about comedy, talk about barbecue, talk about some stuff, and I'm very excited to have you on, Budsy. Welcome.
Well, how are you doing?
I
I'm
am
I'm
good.
doing
How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, life has been better and life has been worse for me. And I say better is always better.
Amen to that. Listen, it can always be worse, and I try to take that thought process with me and try not to focus on it. I want to focus on the better, like you. All right, so I told you before we went live, you are multifaceted. You have a myriad of things going on that I want to talk about. But let's start with some journey, some origin story on you. Tell us a little bit
Okay.
about you.
Well, I identify as Budsy. Now, I used to say that I was Uncle Budsy 2.0. The original Uncle Budsy was a Jamaican gentleman. His real name, I met him. He was the uncle of my best friend when I was 13 to 15. And the original Uncle Budsy, he was Jamaican, and his real name was Baptiste Adu. And he used to being Jamaican, he smoked a lot of ganja. And he actually told me he used to smoke with Jimmy Cliff and Bob Marley back in 9 Miles, Jamaica.
Wow.
And so, but what he would do is he'd hold up a bud of weed. He called me Mickey Mon. That was the name. He'd say, Mickey Mon, you want to smoke some Budsies? And so I started calling him Uncle Budsy. I was kind of making fun of him. But the guy was great. I mean, he said some things that you can't say now. You would be canceled. But he was a barbecue cook. He cooked barbecue for 52 years in
Wow.
Dallas, Fort Worth for three different restaurant chains. One was Red Brian's, Sonny Brian's, and also Angelo's over in Fort Worth. And I actually saw Baptiste, Uncle Budsy, about 20 years ago there in Fort Worth, where I was a dentist. I was a dental surgeon.
Yeah, so you were my daughters went to TCU, so I'm familiar with Fort
Oh,
Worth.
okay. Okay.
Tell us about the dental surgeon. Why
Well, I
that?
was like I said, I was Doctor. I was doctor. And I say I was Doctor Budsy. I was a dental surgeon. I wasn't a medical doctor, because if I'd been a medical doctor, I'm sure I'd been a gynecologist. And I know if I'd done that, I would have gone to prison for that. So I know my limitations. What I tell people now, I'm Dr. Budsy. I make actually medicated barbecue sauce.
Oh my God, talk about that.
Oh yeah, and see, I'm a barbecue cook now. I've been cooking since I was 14 with the original Uncle Budsy. But he would tell me stuff like, I remember he used to call his ribs bone candy, and he would go up to a woman and he'd ask her, "Would you like to suck on my bones?" I mean, you can't say that kind of stuff now. I mean, you'd be canceled. You cannot say that kind of stuff. But he would do it. So he was not politically correct, but he was this skinny black man he came with locks, dreadlocks. He had to shave them off as bald as me to get a job in cooking barbecue. But I got back into it up in Portland because I established Uncle Budsy's Barbecue. It was a food truck. We did very well. It was Texas style barbecue. But we also did cannabis infused barbecue dinners at this consumption lounge we had up there. It was called the Northwest Cannabis Club. We had 24,000 members. Now,
Wow.
I am making infused barbecue sauce, and you can, it's infused. The THC is Delta 9. It's legal everywhere. Delta 9 THC is legal everywhere except Idaho. And we also have a line.
Florida.
Yeah, we have a line of CBD, and that's all sold from drbudsy.com. It's DRBUDSY.com. And like I said, I'm telling people now, I'm Heisenberg, because
I gotta
people have
see that.
said that I look like
I meant to
Walter.
say that. Yes, you look like the guy from Breaking Bad.
Well, I tell people I'm not Walter White, but I'm selling the blue stuff from Dr. Budsy also. It's this what this is. This is corn syrup and
Yes,
sugar.
before anybody shuts me down, that's rock
Yeah,
candy.
yeah, it's rock candy. Yeah, it's like I got vanilla or mint tasting. But I'm selling. It's a prop, is what it is.
I'm
But
fascinated by the infusion part, the fusion
oh,
part.
this
Tell
has
me about that because Florida's relatively new to the game. It's only been a
uh-huh,
couple 5 years ish, maybe, I guess. But we're starting to see more of that in food products.
yeah. This
Tell us about that because I think a lot of people are uneducated and they go, "Oh, I don't want to eat the barbecue sauce. I don't want to be high."
Yeah. Well, see, we have a line of CBD and THC. Now, the THC is derived from hemp, so it doesn't come from. Which, hemp is one of the strains of cannabis, but it's mainly it's like less than 0.3% THC. But you derive delta 9 from THC from this in a process. It's in what's called distillate, odorless and tasteless. I used to make this barbecue sauce. This is our sweet and smoky. It's award-winning barbecue sauce. It actually beat out Guy Fieri in a head-to-head contest.
Nice.
And also, I won best tasting medicated barbecue sauce up in Portland one year. I think it was 2017. But what I used to do is I would take a cooking oil with coconut oil, throw an ounce of weed in a crock pot and cook it overnight. And then you strain out the oil and you put that in your product. But the problem is that you get that nasty taste of weed in there. This stuff tastes like the gourmet barbecue sauce it is. And you use it. One night, my girlfriend and I had about 8 ounces of this with I got really, the adult dose is about 10 milligrams per ounce. And so you have, say, 3 ounces. That's going to make you feel like you maybe had a couple glasses of wine, 2, 3, something like that. But I had 8 ounces, and I had a really good time that night, and she did also.
There it is.
So
I think people want to know. I love that you just explained that because I think people go, "Why would I have it in my food?" And there's also health. I mean, I know you can't say this anymore, but or maybe you can now. There's health benefits too. I'm a medical marijuana card carrying citizen, and I know for a fact what it does for me from a health perspective, mental and physical health perspective.
Well, this, labeling this plant that can grow wild as medicine. I mean, I say that is medicine. It is medicine. It's a great expectorant, makes you cough like a motherfucker. But is it, and I've coughed some things up I know should not have been in my body. Probably this coronavirus remnants or something. But is it medicine? CBD is a good anti-inflammatory. It calms down nerves so that they're not as excitable. That's how it breaks seizures. The THC has affinity for certain receptors in your brain, and it alters your, I guess, reality. You're more cognizant on other realities. Like here on this planet, we operate as humans in 3 dimensions: point, place, and location, and a linear timeline forward. Now, these big brain astrophysicists say that there's 26 different physical dimensions.
What?
And there's 26. It's the string theory and all but there's 26 different physical dimensions. We as humans limit ourselves to only 3 of those, because if we operated on these in these other things, we'd be seeing demons up in the corner of the ceiling, all kinds of weird things that say people would label you as crazy. So do I see things? I mean, not really. I know what's real and I know what's not real.
I feel different because I take both products. I take both meds in my mind, THC and CBD. If I am trying out a new product, for example, and I don't know the dosage, sometimes I'll take more than I should. And I have experienced that it's a different feeling, but I don't ever feel crazy or weird. I just feel different. I don't know how to explain it. I look at things differently.
Well, it's altered reality. I mean, the thing about is it, labeling this plant that can grow wild. Now, there's no consistency in this plant. And that's what the FDA and the DEA and the AMA, they said we're not going to let a bunch of stone hippie farmers tell us what is medicine. Right. And the thing is, medicine usually you can analyze specifically what's in it. You can't tell what's in this plant. There's difference between the stems, the pods, the leaves, the roots. There's no consistency. And then if you go to another plant, there's no consistency there. So, probably in 10 years, all the consumption will be by edibles, drinks, and probably single-use vape pens. Yeah. But the smoking will go away, except in these legacy consumption lounges.
Yeah, the smoking is what originally everything was demonized back when I went to school, and the smoking, the smell of that, and it is a challenge. I've never done the smoking part. I've never smoked anything actually, but the tincture I take, the gummies that I've taken. There are and the lotions, the ones that you put on your body, like physically, all of that has, for me personally, has made such a difference. It made a difference when I had cancer. Yeah. It made a huge difference in my life. And so I just think everybody just needs to get educated.
What I find is that cannabinoids, they help regulate the endocannabinoid system, which is a real thing. It's kind of esoteric in people, but it helps create homeostasis for the other systems, like the musculoskeletal, the neuro system, and the different organ systems. It allows it to operate in homeostasis. And so I think everyone should. Cannabis, the cannabinoid should be considered an essential nutritional supplement with no currently known recommended daily allowance. You should probably get some in your system. How much? How much you feel like you should. Yes. If you it may be a very small, but it helps with the body's maintain a homeostatic state of affairs, so that your body functions better. Now, can you derive? You can derive medicine from weed, but is it medicine in itself? I would say no. It's like a nutritional supplement. That's what I would say. And you've got labeling something like this, like you got so much, vitamin THC.
Yeah, vitamin. And I know why I'm such a big. I was a proponent of it before I got my card, just because I could not. I had so many friends and so many people I knew where it made such a marked difference in their life, which made in their physical or mental health, which made such an impact on their lives, being better, being more cognizant, being more like there's just so many different things. And of course, it's different for each person. So I love the fact that I can do that now in Florida and not have to worry about it. Yeah. I love that my veteran friends who, especially with PTSD and so many other things, that they are allowed, people have to be careful. Active military is still not a fan of it. So we have a lot of ground to cover, but I feel good that we're at least at a place where people who need it, most of them can get access.
Yeah, myself, I've been a medical marijuana patient now for almost 10 years, but I've been a fan of the plant since I was a teenager back in Texas, where it was highly illegal. And I'm a medical marijuana patient for a life and death condition. And and these are people, I call them medical marijuana fanatics. They have to label this stuff as medicine. They say, oh, it's not recreational. I mean, it should be regulated like the plant should be regulated like grapes, potatoes, corn, and
Correct. I get
which are raw products in the production of wine, whiskey, vodka, and beer. And they should be taxed and regulated like those. I mean, if right now they regulate and tax, if you count section 280E of the IRS code, they regulate and tax. Well, they regulate it like it's an illegal, dangerous drug, but they tax it like, the cannabis industry here in the United States is still probably 80% black market. I mean, it's still, even though they have all this legal stuff.
Yep.
But what they're doing, the government thinks they're doing something by regulating like this, and everybody else says, screw that. We'll just do this. But regulating and taxing weed as an illegal, dangerous drug restricts access and raises the cost.
Yes.
I mean, the price, like, with alcohol, the prohibition, during prohibition, the illegal alcohol industry was organized crime. In the weed industry, it's disorganized crime. All these people are just, I mean, they're not working together.
No, it's not. So tell us, because we're running out of time, I want people to be able to find you, follow you for your comedy, follow you for your restaurant, which you'll be reopening, order any kind of product that you have. What is the best way they can find?
Well, they can.
Dr. Budsy.
Okay. My website is drbudsy.com is where they could order the stuff. It's www.drbudsy.com. My barbecue restaurant is budsybbq.com, but I'm in the process of revamping it. I need to get that open as soon as I can. I'm kind of I'm actually looking for investors right now. And I've done a bunch of different things. I actually used to be a stockbroker. I was a licensed Series 7 and 24 stockbroker. I started doing that after I quit being a dental surgeon. I had someone die in my office and I wasn't drinking, drugging, doing anything. I was completely clean and sober for a year and a half before. So I wasn't smoking weed. I wasn't doing, but I had someone die in my office, and I stopped doing that and became a stockbroker. And when I was doing investments, I found out about this new internet stuff coming up, and I got involved in that. But what I see with the cannabis industry, I think the cannabis, medical marijuana will probably be federally legal within probably 12 months from now. And when that happens, a ton of new investment money is going to come in to the industry. Most of it probably is going to go. They think this $3,500 to $4,500 a pound business model is sustainable. It's not. I mean, most of the growing is going to go up in the Pacific Northwest, around that Emerald Triangle. But when I left there, I bought 4 ounces of medical grade marijuana from a licensed medical grower for $25 an ounce for a friend of mine for his medical condition, the equivalent of $400 a pound. When I first got there, weed up there was $3,200 a pound. Wow. And so it's overproduction. That's going to happen here when,
I'm ready for the federal. All right, brother.
Okay.
Go to drbudsy.com. It's scrolling right there on your screen. Reach out to Dr. Budsy. Reach out to Budsy anytime. Follow him. Wait for the reopening of the restaurant. And of course, he's looking for investors, which is good for my my audience to know you're a joy, my friend. I'm so glad to have you on. I got educated again today, and I love it.
I got a lot more. I got a lot more stuff that, some people, they get tired of listening. I tell people I don't have dementia. I don't have Alzheimer's. I have tormentia. I torment everybody around me.
Tormentia. And on that note, you are not tormenting me. I am very excited to have you. So please come back. I would love for you to talk about more, but I want you guys to visit drbudsy.com and you can find everything there. Thank you, my friend, so much.
My Facebook is Budsy Comedian, Budsy the Comedian.
And we'll tag you in that. All right, buddy. Have a good one. Thank you, Dr. Budsy. We'll see you guys soon. Get involved, get educated. This is what
Thank you for having me. You have a good day. And everybody, y'all have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you. Bye, everybody.